Hello everyone, this is the Boredwise channel, and in this channel I talk about all the things I do to kill my boredom, mainly doing research about things that might be of absolutely no interest to you. But just for fun, I am doing this research and I am sharing it with you. So welcome to the first episode of Northwestern Rivers of Rig Veda period. As you may or may not know, Veda is a part of ancient literature in the Indian Hindu system. And this word Veda comes from the Sanskrit root word Ved. Ved signifies the act of knowing or the concept of knowledge. But can we find this word Ved in other places also? So let me show you something funny. There is this river called Vedosa in Russia. And when I search for what is the meaning of Vedosa in Russian language, it can't find any proper meaning of the word Vedosa. However, Vedosa seems to be something derived from the Sanskrit word Ved, which means knowledge or wisdom. So, why would some river in Russia have a name Vedosa? Something that we must be interested in. When I was looking for places around this river, which I told you was Vedosa, I came across another name that seemed very similar to something we know in our Hindu scriptures, which is known as Rig Veda. Rig Veda is part of the four Vedas that are present. Uh, and this place's name was Riga, which is very similar to the name that the Veda has, Rig Veda. So this Riga is present in Latvia, and in near around this place there is this other river called Daugava. Now, this is very interesting because these names seem very similar to Indian words we have, or mainly Sanskrit words that are present. And I will discuss about it in near future. But for now, let me focus on the fact that this Rig Veda that we have in the Veda literatures, Rig Veda is a very ancient literature, and it points us to a lot of rivers that were present during the early Vedic civilization. So the Sanskrit word rig actually comes from the root word rig, which means to praise. Now, as I said, the word rig is different in Sanskrit versus its basis in the Livonian language, which may be ringa, which means loop. So maybe these two words, the riga in Latvia, is different from the riga in the Rig Vedas, but it might still have some ancient uh, root in the Sanskrit language. And the reason I'm saying this is because of the Proto-Indo-European migration that we have studied in ancient history, which actually talks about the Aryan migration around the Central Asia, Europe, and India. So there could be possibly two hypotheses regarding this similar nomenclature in between Eastern European regions and in India. The first hypothesis could be the names in Eastern Europe are derived from Indo-Aryan culture, or the second hypothesis could be that the Rig Vedic people existed in Eastern Europe. So this place could be a possible region, the Eastern Europe could be a possible region which could form the western boundary for the Vedic civilization. In the Rig Veda, there is a Nadi Stuti Sukta or Nadi Sukta, which actually translates roughly to the hymns for the rivers present in the region. And in this hymn, there is a stanza, the sixth stanza actually describes the rivers on the northwest frontiers of the Vedic civilization that was supposed to be formed in the Indian region. So let's see where I have found these rivers in the current maps. According to the translations from the most learned Max Muller. This stanza 6 translates roughly to: First thou goest united with the Trishtama on this journey, with the Susartu, the Rasa, and the Sweti, O Sindhu, with the Kuba to the Goan, with the Mehaknu to the Krumu, with whom thou proceedest together. So there are the mentions of these rivers: Trishtama, Susartu, Rasa, Sweti in the first line, which actually suggest the northwest rivers uh, of the Indus. Now, if we look at this rivers, we have to find like where they are currently, because this translation that was done based on the then periodic visualization of what the Indus Valley civilization looked like. But could this location of these rivers be in some completely different place? Because we have to understand that Rig Veda was written, like wasn't even written actually, it was spoken of at a time that was very prehistoric. It was like around 3000 BC. So we have to understand the whole geography of that region could have been completely different. So from that perspective, where could these rivers be? And I was just looking on the maps to see where these rivers could be. So I tried to find like the names of these rivers that I came across. And the first river actually that I found out in the atlas was Rasa, because it was much more easier to find, like when I type in river Rasa in Google Maps, and well, I found the Rasa river. And then I was like, okay, if Rasa river is completely in like the Eastern Europe, in Romania region, where could be these other rivers? And then I was like, okay, let's look into the previous uh, USSR region, and let's see if we can find something. So then I came across this river called River Sveta, or in Russia it's known as Reka Sveta, which is very similar to the name of the river Svetva that was mentioned in this Nadi Shaktam. And then there was Reka Sustya, which is very similar to the name Susartu river. And then Trishtama river seems to be very similar to the name Reka Trostanka. The reason I'm saying that these are not the same but similar is because, over time languages often change. We often convert words that sound very similar. So based on this period, we can understand that over a period of thousands and thousands of centuries, how certain words might have changed from their original forms. Here is a map of the river region from Trostanka, Sustya, Sveta to Rasa river. This whole region, I believe, under this region, uh, there could have been early Vedic civilization, and this could form the northwest frontiers of the Vedic civilization. It could be also linked to the Indo-European migration through the Central Asia. Now the thing is, like, we are not sure what actually happened and why the names of these rivers sound very similar to the rivers in Nadi Sutta. So if we think about it, most probably my belief is that the early Vedic civilization was from here, which actually moved down towards the northern India. Now, there are people who also say that it could be the other way around, where people, or like the Vedic civilization, originated in India and moved towards these frontiers. No matter what, I think that this region is interesting for archaeological excavations. Coming to archaeological excavation, the next thing I want to show you is in 2007, the Times of India actually reported an idol of Hindu deity Vishnu, which was dated to 7th to 10th century AD, which was excavated from Starayana. Now, this region is in Russia. Okay, And if you see, this Taramaina is very close to Reka Trostanka. Okay. However, this report has been shown that it actually is a false report, like the claim was false. But we never know what is the true, like when it comes to Russian articles, and like what is right and what is wrong, and what is shown to us and what is not shown to us. Now, this Staramana, this place, it has been mentioned in articles that say that this name already was there in other Vedic texts. Now, how much of it is true is very debatable, and there are very less number of articles showing that. So, if you come across any place that actually shows like the excavations of Hindu deities or Hindu items in that region, please let me know under the comments, because I would love to hear what your thoughts are on this matter. Like, do you think there were people who went to this region of the world from the Vedic civilization, or if there was migration of people who actually formed the Vedic civilization in this area? So, what were your thoughts? Now, just to be truthful, like if you see the eastern part of Reka Trostyanka, that part there has been already archaeological excavations that have shown the proto Indo-European civilization residing in those areas. So that's something interesting to look into. This is a map of the Proto-Indo-European migration that was in Wikipedia, actually, from which I used this one. And here the region that I was showing for those four rivers, they actually coincide with this Yamnaya culture region. Okay, so if you see that there was this Yamnaya culture, which actually nowadays some scholars are saying that culture actually is a part of the Vedic civilization. So there are like how much of it is truth, even I don't know. But I want to know what you think about it, and do want to know if you have any kind of like um, kind of facts or kind of things that prove that okay, this region there was Vedic civilization, there were people who migrated into it, or there were people who migrated out of it into India. I will now show you like two evidences that show that there were Vedic civilizations across that area. So let me show you. This article was about a place called Arkine where there was excavations, and based on the previous ancient literatures of Aryan and Iranian spiritual literatures from like Vedas and Avestas, it has been seemed like there were concrete ring walls that actually possibly reflect the city of King Yama, who is described in Rig Veda. So Yama is the king or the deity who actually decides on what is right and what is wrong in your afterlife. So it seems like it's very similar to what has been described in Rig Veda. And then there are foundations in walls and dwellings where you get the swastika pattern or swastika like pattern. Also, there has been evidences in the Sintastha region of excavation where there has been if evidences of horse burials, horse sacrifices, chariot burials that seem very similar to the funerary rituals described in Rig Veda. So this region actually sounds pretty interesting for further excavations. What do you guys think? And do you guys agree that the four rivers that I found out could be the possible four rivers described in the Nadi Sutra or Nadi Sutra, which means the respect or the uh, praise to the rivers present in the Vedic civilization. So before the end of the video, please feel free to share your comments, because that's what I want to know what you think about what I said, and also like and subscribe my video if you like this kind of contents, and share it with people whom you think are interested in such kind of subjects. With this, I will tell you another fun fact. Fun fact is the term Govumate in Latvian mythology means cow mother. The goddess who takes care of this cows and of the uh, earthly matters like plants, animals is known as Mara in their mythology. Now, in Hindu mythology, there is this term called Gomata, which is very similar to the Latvian Govumate. In Hindu mythology, Gaumata is often represented by Kamadhenu, also known as Surabhi, who is considered as the mother of all cows. So, there is similarity between Latvian mythologies and Hindu mythologies. So, could it be that the Daugava River that I had shown you next to Riga in Latvia, so could it be that Daugava actually means two cows, because Gava is another name for cows even in uh, Sanskrit, and Dau means great, or it could also come from the uh, s- word du, which means like two. So it could mean two cows or great cow. I don't know. However, Daugava in the Latvian language, it actually means great. So we do not know what is the origin, and there can be controversies regarding the name nomenclature of Daugava. So tell me your thoughts. Don't forget to share your comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe my channel if you like this type of contents, and share it with people whom you think might be interested in this subject. Till next time, bye.